difference between differentiation, accommodations, and modifications can be likened to a staircase because we want our students to achieve as much as they can at the top of the staircase. However, there's different ways to get to the top. So that would be differentiation, providing something that they could still get to the top with some support. Accommodations would be giving them like a handrail or maybe something on their shoes so they didn't slip on the stairs to be able to get to the top. And then modifications would be changing the goal, maybe not to all get to the top, just to the landing, and or maybe halfway. Or maybe you just have to reach the lane. You don't have to stand up on the landing. So that's the basic idea of the three. So more in-depthly, differentiations is making learning applicable. It's giving choices so that the student is motivated, something by, which they like or it's a preference of them. And then how are they going to demonstrate that learning through the differentiation? It might be in a way that they can have better engagement with the material, images for vocab, something like that. That helps. It stays with the same goal and the same standards, but it's in the delivery and how the student can access the information. Accommodation, also it provides access. It doesn't change the goal necessarily, but they're an adaptation. So it's like that handrail. It might be glasses. It's just an adaptation of what they're needing. And then it's often delivered in an open and definitely a supportive environment. The accommodations are not something to be given when they're not needed and or to be used as a crutch. However, they are to help the student be able to achieve the goal with some support. So something like this for our student would be preferred seating. It's a new topic. She can be very, have outbursts or want to discuss things, be the first to say stuff. So if she's at the front, that helps. And to the side, I placed her so that she's not in the big group, but that the teacher can be right there to help monitor along with the IEP for the outburst. So that would be an accommodation preferential seating. And then a modification is where you fundamentally change the goal in some nature, altering the standards, changing what that meets the student's needs and abilities. So for our student, there's no journal writing. Some of the reading difficulties she has, the reading grade level and writing, to not have her do it in the science class, but then later have an accommodation and differentiation of her then doing it with a special ed teacher. And then she can do answering of the 5 questions, which then align with her IEP. So that's the idea, to engage the student, to give them preferred seating, and then the no journal writing for the differentiation, accommodations, and modification, because her strengths are she's a happy student overall. She needs small group, that positive reinforcement, that teacher being very close to her, and then in the paired groups or small setting. She has an interest in swimming, so tying that into the Yellowstone wolves, of humans and wolves pictures of swimming to engage her right away because it's a new topic. And then the IEP goals of the emotional regulation, but also those reading comprehension questions and sentences that then paired nicely with the vocab. So that's a brief explanation of the 3 and how they worked out in the lesson plan for introducing wolves into Yellowstone.